everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say let.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS. Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz, and along with me is the man with the buys, the man with the tries, the one with the broad chest, the one and only John Barba.
Yo,
Welcome, JB. Well,
what's going on?
just like the intro, let's have a day. It's Overreaction Monday, the one day that you get to be out of pocket, say what you truly feel about your team, and then be able to turn the chapter over tomorrow. But today being Overreaction Monday, don't forget to call us at 575-808-9307. Let us know how you feel. Let us know how you think your team did, whether it's good or bad. Some of us are riding high. Some of us are feeling great this morning. Some of us woke up and our coffee just tasted so great. And some of us woke up with not much time to spare, with not much energy, just a little bit down in the dumps. And I don't know who that is, and I don't know who I'm speaking to when I say that. I'm just speaking that out loud, as the show says. But thank you guys for joining us and waking up with us this morning. We have a hell of a show. We're going to run down through all the games. We're also going to catch up with Tim Foley to get a little bit of insight on what happened in the college football world. Even Diego Pavia, the one game that we didn't think was going to, or that Tim had told us, I don't know if they're going to get through. Potential Heisman winner, Sellers gets hurt in the second half, or in the second quarter, gets knocked out with a head-to-head hit. And Diego is able to lead that Vanderbilt team to a victory. So it's interesting. I'm going to be interested to see where Tim has placed them, or if they possibly have moved into the top 5. Maybe I'm overreacting there, but that's part of the gimmick today. So let's roll with it, JB. Don't forget, guys, call us 575-808-9307. This show today on Overreaction Monday will only get better with your phone calls. So do it now or do it soon. JB, let's just jump right into these games. I think the only way for us to start it is that beautiful game winner by Brandon Aubrey, the Cowboys versus Giants. Cowboys slightly get the edge over the New York Giants, 40-37 OT win with Brandon Aubrey hitting the game winner. JB, before I give you my thoughts, what's your initial reaction to that Cowboys win?
Well, I think obviously you got to gut out a win. There's some good things. There's some positive things to look at. George Pickens got involved in the second half a lot. They started using him more, so that's some things to look forward to now that he's more involved in the offense. Javonte Williams, he looks like his career is kind of resurrected. The way that y'all use him now in the run game and in the pass game, he's been having 2 really good productive first 2 weeks. Definitely some concern on the defensive side of the ball, though.
Yep.
A lot of mishaps, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of big plays given up. Granted, you did have Malik Neighbors on the other side, but the guy throwing the ball looked like he was back in his prime in certain instances.
Seattle Russ.
Russ, the guy that we were wanting to bench last week. I mean, he looked like he was back in mid 2000 teens shape until obviously he just chucked the ball away, gave the game away in overtime. Ridiculous. Like it's just he just couldn't do it no more. So kind of bailed y'all out at the end right there. Aubrey, crazy game winners. I mean, probably the best kicker in the league right now, especially over 50 yards. Dude's a freaking got a cannon for a leg. So there's a lot to take. There's a lot of positives that you got your first win of the year. But there is a lot of things to take into this to get better as a team, defensively, offensively. You can take away a little bit of everything to get better.
I will be honest with you, JB. There was a moment in that fourth quarter where I'm sitting next to my wife and I tell her, if they score right here, I may have to give up. And next play, Russell Wilson, deep ball, score touchdown, take the lead.
Yep.
Devastated. At that point, I'm pretty devastated. It honestly, that whole game, it's kind of laughable. As a Cowboys fan, you can't help yourself but to kind of laugh the situation that we're in going into the game, expecting that it's an easy win. Like you said last week, we kind of jumped on Russ, 1-2 step into the sideline, getting benched, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Jackson Dart got put in a couple snaps, looked a bit nervous, so maybe we need to hold off. Maybe the comments on our TikTok post were right. Let's relax. The offensive line looks bad. It looked pretty decent against the Cowboys there in the passing game. A lot of people saying Dallas missed Micah. People like Ryan Clark on Twitter saying, "Hey, maybe there was a guy that could have maybe ended that game during regulation." But we're past that. So Ryan Clark, let's stop bringing that shit up. He's in Green Bay now. He's not in Dallas. So let's not live in the past. Let's move forward here. Dallas signing Javion Clowney. Don't know how impactful that's going to be, but it does show that Jerry Jones is trying to move forward. So I do appreciate that. But going into that fourth quarter, I was nervous. Obviously, they take the lead. There's no other person that would want the ball in their hands right now than Dak Prescott. I mean, we saw it in week 1. Dak balling out, leading his team down the field, potentially being able to win that game if it wasn't for the drop passes by the guy's jersey that I'm wearing right now, and CD Lamb drives them down. Obviously now with the Cowboys, what a weapon! What a weapon! You just need to get to the midfield hash, and you got a chance. And that's a beautiful feeling. You've had your moments with kickers, so having a kicker that is pretty automatic feels pretty good. I don't know if you know what that feels like, JB. We've went through some rough stretches as well, but it's a beautiful feeling. I'm excited. Brandon Aubrey is the MVP. A lot of people are saying best player on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. We need to relax. There's still Dak Prescott on that team, so chill out just a little bit. I do have Javonte on my fantasy team. I have not started him week 1 or week 2, but he's been putting up 20 plus. I will say I was a bit nervous, but I love it. I love it. Our producer's saying, "Hey, enough of that Cowboys shit. Let's move on to this next game." So we're gonna put a little pin on that because I'm sure we're gonna come back to the Cowboys. Well, let's move on. JB, Lions versus Bears. The Lions just put a massive beat down on the Bears. Gave them no shot. They had their foot on their throat, and they stepped down on it, 52-21. There was a bit of a question mark. There was an interview after the game where they asked Ben Johnson, "Do you feel because the Lions had went for it on the fourth down, blah blah, they scored, blah blah blah." They asked Ben Johnson, "Do you feel like Dan Campbell was kind of just being an asshole?" Paraphrasing here. Ben Johnson, the answer was awesome. He replies with, "Hey, that's not what they do. They go for it on fourth down. So they were just sticking to how they play. Got to respect it. Move on. Dumb question." Now, like Ben Johnson, love that answer. You guys stink right now. Probably going to lose in Dallas coming up this week. Looking pretty bad for him. But what are your takeaways from that Lion Bears game?
Well, Lions got back on track. I will say that. So they looked a lot better, but I think the real concern is for the Bears currently. I think the Lions, yeah, they got back on track. They got some rhythm on offense, everything like that. Defense made some plays. I mean, we didn't think they were going to just roll over and be a bad team, a 6-win team. They're still probably a 10-plus win team, at least 10 wins. The Bears, on the other hand, huge issues on the defensive side. Offense couldn't get really anything going. And I'm kind of looking at the Bears schedule, and there's a little bit of concern. I mean, you got Green Bay again. Obviously, you got Detroit again. You're playing, the Bucks. You're playing a lot of good teams coming up in the schedule. Can this team? I was looking at the full schedule yesterday, and I was like, man, is this a 6-win team? Like, because they got a tough schedule. And so there's definitely some overreaction. So I think you're going to see give it a few more weeks. If they start off 1-4, 1-5, there's some real issues here. And I think it all starts kind of at the quarterback position. You got your head coach in Ben Johnson. I think I don't think he gets fired after 1 year, after 2 years. Now, Caleb Williams, he's got to perform better. The execution's got to be better offensively. Defensively, I mean, they're a hot mess. They're a hot mess. So there's a lot of. I think you kind of you're pressing the panic button in Chicago. So it's interesting to see how many games this team is going to win this year. Right now, they just don't look very good. They don't look good. Essentially, they should be 1-1, but they didn't finish out the fourth quarter last week. I mean, this week they didn't even show up, and it showed. So there's some concern in Chicago. Yeah, they were expecting 8, 9, 10 wins, possibly a playoff team. I don't know if this team can even get 6 wins this year. So there is some issues.
Oh, JB, breaking news. Joe Burrow going to be out for a minimum of 3 months. Turf toe was reevaluated. It was sent to a different doctor. Results come back, reported by Adam Schefter on ESPN. Looks like Joe Burrow, turf toe, going to be out for 3 months. I don't mean to just jump into completely leave that Lions Bears game, although concerns in Chicago. I don't think it's an overreaction. I think that shit is real, JB. That is real.
Yeah.
But let's get with Joe Burrow. Somehow they
Yeah.
were still able to pull off that win yesterday, but 3 months without him, JB. 31-27. It was a tight one. That was actually a pretty good game. I had that one on my bottom left screen for my ticket. From what I did see, uh, a little bit of a shootout. There's some question marks on Trevor Lawrence. Was that a PI there at the end on Travis Hunter? I don't think so. I didn't like it. I thought it was a
I
bang
don't
bang
like that
play,
call here.
but it happened. You got to live with it. Bengals go down, score and win. With Jake Browning, but 3 months, JB. 3 months. I mean, are
Man.
we?
What,
What's up? Are we chalking up the? If you're a Bengals fan, are you chalking it up?
Yes, if you're a Bengals fan, you're putting a fork into the season. Unfortunately, you guys start off 2-0 for the first time and who knows how the heck long. Starting off 2-0, man. Jake Browning, a formidable backup, but he is a gunslinger. He is a turnover machine. He had 3 turnovers last night or yesterday. So I don't know this team, the division that you're into. I hate to say it, Cincinnati, but you guys are chalked. Put a fork in the season. You can't miss 12 games and expect to. I mean, if they come out of this 6-6, maybe Joe comes back 6-6. You got 2, 3, 4 weeks left in the season, and you can make a wild card push. That's your best bet. That's your best bet. Right now, you're 2-0, so that gives you a little bit of leeway. You're playing Minnesota, which is the worst team in football right now. So next week, so we'll
Whoa,
see
what?
how it goes. The worst
That
offense.
worked
I'll say
out
the worst offense in
bad.
football. For worst offense in football, but you got
Are you?
Minnesota next week. If you start the season 3-0, I don't think you count them out. I mean, I don't think you count them out, but you got to win. You got to at least go 500 over these next 12 weeks. At least go
It's
500.
gonna look rough. Let's. What a beautiful gift given to you guys, or not beautiful. I hope Joe Burrow gets back sooner. The,
There's
the
a lot
sooner
of
the, the
issues
sooner
besides
foot the
that's not
sooner
going
we
to get
get Joe
Super
Burrow
Bowl.
back, the better football is gonna be. So prayers to Buddy and his leg,
And this is the thing, like,
or
is
his
Joe
toe.
Burrow, like, is he injury prone? Because he's been hurt every year, it seems like. And now this 12-week gone. I mean, is the guy just
Oh,
kind of injury prone?
injuries suck. Like they just take away so much. I hate injuries. Only if we could turn on the no injuries button like you can on Madden. It's so disappointing because football is so much better with this guy on it. If you put this guy on our TV, we're gonna be entertained. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's not gonna be. We're gonna get Jake Browning, who didn't look too bad yesterday, but he's no Joe Burrow. But let's just run down their schedule real quick, JB. So we got the Vikings next week. We don't know what the Vikings are. According to the one Vikings enthusiast, the fan, John Borba, telling us they stink. Is it an overreaction? I don't know. We'll find out here in just a few. But they got Minnesota next week. Before yesterday, I would have said an L is heading to Cincinnati. But after last night, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Same thing
We'll see.
next, Broncos. Before yesterday, we're pretty high on the Broncos. We're still
Yeah.
like, Bo Nix is developing, but they got that defense. After yesterday, Do the Broncos have a top 5 defense? Do they?
They were getting cooked. Sertan was getting his lunch
Either
ate.
that
I
or
will say that. The run
Daniel
game,
Jones is a dog. Or
yeah,
Daniel Jones is a dog.
yeah, so that defense was getting carved up in the run game. That's a big issue. Now that's an issue in Denver. They didn't have the best run defense last year, but like it doesn't look like they're doing nothing to improve that. So that becomes an issue. The secondary kind of becomes an issue too. So there's a lot of question marks in Denver, and then Bo Nix a little bit turnover prone, but like on the other side, he's kind of like turning into like a gunslinger type of quarterback where you're going to get your ups, you're going to get some downs, you're going to get some extended plays, you're going to get some highlight moments, but then on the other side, you might get a couple stupid turnovers. So what is this team? I don't know what this team right now. But I think this has more to say about the Colts. Um, Colts stuck it out, got a dub. Daniel Jones looked solid against a really good pass defense. Was able to extend plays, was pretty accurate for most of the day. Found Tyler Warren, found Alec Pierce on some big plays. Michael Pittman made some good plays. Jonathan Taylor, of course. As long as they got that run game going, I'm telling you, this team is a threat. I think they're serious. They're serious playoff contenders, and I need to get Daniel Jones on my fantasy team because my mistake this
DJ,
past week
DJ,
was either
DJ,
Justin Fields or
DJ.
Daniel Jones, and I made the mistake of going Justin Fields. So I
Oh
think Daniel Jones is
no.
on the team after this week.
Justin Fields week 1 performance. Gotcha. Gotcha, boy.
Got him.
Yo, this Colts team, the way that ended, tough luck. And this is what I always say. This is why I always tell you. All you gotta do is get in the dance, and then you need a little bit of luck. It don't matter. Like the Packers, for as stacked as they looked on Thursday Night Football, how great they look. When come playoffs, it's one game. It's not best of 7. It's not the NBA. It's not hockey. It's best. It's best of one game, and you got to show up. That fight that you might have had with your girlfriend, or waking up a little sick, or the food that you ate last night didn't sit too well. All that can come into play. You need one perfect game for 4 weeks in the playoffs. Little bit of luck's got to be on your side. And yesterday, unfortunately, the Broncos are on the crap end of the stick, and they lose to they're touching the center, so they get a re-kick. Colts get up 10 yards, boom, easy kick. Wide right the first one. There's no way they're going to miss 2. Not a professional kicker. There's no way you're going to miss back-to-back kicks. Not a professional kicker. Maybe me. Maybe me if I go out to Nimi and kick 2 back-to-back. I might miss the second one. I might. Let's chill, JB. I'm going to stick with the leg. With the right leg, I'm going to stick. Like Matthew Cedillo on the golf course shoots like an 80 or whatever, and he's only been playing or he's probably been playing his whole life. But let's say Bronny James, right? Started 3 months ago and bro shooting like an 80. At least that's what I saw according to TikTok. I'm gonna stick with my right leg, JB. Give me a chance. I shot Jerry a DM. I said, hey, give me a chance. He didn't respond, but I respect it because we don't need me, JB. We don't need me in Dallas. But Colts, Kevin's riding high, huh?
Oh yeah,
Kevin's riding high right now. JT, that team's running behind JT. JT's resurrecting himself
yeah.
as being one of the top backs. I'm juiced. I drafted JT on my fantasy team. So let's keep rolling. Go Colts. That's what we discovered is their new chant, right?
Go Colts.
Yo, you got it. Go ahead, hit it.
No, no,
This is
we're
our
good.
team. This is who we
We're
are.
good,
We
dude.
love them.
That's such a cringe song.
No, the song is actually a worship song. The song's not cringe. The kid
Oh,
who
okay.
remakes the
The
song is
remake
the
into the
cringe one.
Colts is
Yeah, yeah,
cringe.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. The worship song, banger,
Yeah.
banger. My youngest daughter, top 5 song of hers. But anyways, let's move on. Bills run smash mouth football over the Jets. This is what we've been talking about, JB.
Yep.
I've been telling you, Josh Allen. I don't like when he's the Bills' best runner. So every now and then, you
Yep.
got to give it to that stud behind you. Cook, gotta let him cook.
Yep.
Bro had one of the best runs that I've seen, or probably the best run. This is gonna make that Brant dude's angry runs on NFL Network. Gets 2 hits, nice little spin, bounced right, ugh, hit the Jets to the
Yep.
end zone, and that pretty much summed up that game. Just complete smash mouth football down their throat. Jets disappointing yet again. If you're a Jets fan, it's like, come on. You get a
Man.
glimpse of greatness, and it's not even great because you still end up losing that game. And then you show up next week flat footed, looking worse than ever, wanting Justin Fields out of there. It's a rainy day in New York, I'd say, huh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Justin Fields had a rough day. O-line did not help him. He was getting killed by Joey Bosa and those guys. That front was after him. Uh, the thing about the Bills is when they get the run game going, necessarily without Josh Allen, they're very hard to stop. James Cook, and they kind of just manage the game from there, where Josh Allen doesn't have to be Superman. That is their easiest way of winning. That's their recipe for success. You don't want Josh Allen every single week to have to put the cape on to do every single thing on that offense. So when you got guys like James Cook in the game plan, they're having a heck of a day. It makes it a lot easier on Josh Allen. Makes it a lot easier on that entire offense, on that entire team. So when you get into a rhythm like that, they're hard to beat. And man, Jets, I'm sorry, man. I think it's going to be another long season. They're going to have their ups and downs, but you're probably looking at another 6-win team, maybe 6 wins on the schedule. That's kind of pushing it.
Gotcha.
So you might get one against the Dolphins. They look pretty bad. So we'll
Oh
see.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I
You
think they
know,
bounce back. I've kind of noticed from week one, the very emotional games that were like very close, took a lot out of the team. It's showing in week two. Jets were in a very emotional game where they could have won. I mean, crazy into that game. Teams like the Vikings, very emotional game. All this stuff is mentally fatiguing, I think. It's very mentally fatiguing going into the next week, trying to put up that same performance, having that same hype, having that same mentality
oh
the
yeah.
next week. I mean, and I think we can kind of
And
relate to that as grown-ups too, like in certain
yeah,
sense.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think also what we got to take into consideration is that week one, I mean, you basically have all off season to prep for that week one,
Yeah.
and then boom, emotional shift. Week two doesn't hit as heavy.
Yeah.
Uh, Jets suck yet again,
Yep.
unfortunately. But let's pause from the NFL world and let's slide over to the college world. Let's bring on our college enthusiast, our former D1 UNM player, Tim Foley. Welcome, Tim Foley. What up,
Morning,
Tim?
guys. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Good.
Tim, Tim, I am juiced. The one game that we thought was going to be the toughest for our local hero, Diego Pavia, pushes through, getting through South Carolina. How are we feeling? How are we feeling if being on this side of the fence? How are we feeling, Tim? How are we feeling about Diego?
Yeah, so I know a couple of weeks ago we kind of talked about it, and I kind of threw a little bit of shade at you Cowboys fans, talking about how this is a really long stretch for Vanderbilt to hit the national championship or make the college football playoffs. After this weekend, I mean, they are a prime team set up for this. I mean, I went into this game with a lot of doubts, like I'm sure a lot of other people did, and Vanderbilt really handled them from the opening kickoff. A lot of people will talk about that Lenore Sellers getting hurt in the second quarter could have attributed to this. Obviously, it's going to attribute it to it, but I still don't see South Carolina scoring more than 31 points. Really, Vanderbilt's defense is what stepped up. And then the big story of the game, obviously, is where is Theo Vaughn going to be taking Diego Pavia's mom for this
Yep.
date?
Yeah,
it
I seen
it's
that.
a
I seen that.
yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, how just one little comment in a podcast can kind of it took over. I mean, they were interviewing Theo Vaughn on the sideline. Where are you going to take Diego Pavia's mom? And it's kind of funny. You have Diego Pavia kind of pimping out his mom for dates nowadays. But I guess whenever you're 3-0 and feeling good and on top of the world, you kind of do whatever you need to do, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's
Oh,
Diego Pavia's mom there on the screen. You tell me. You tell me where Theo Von's gonna take that beautiful older lady there.
It's
yeah.
funny though. Where would your guys' first thought be if you guys were taking in this case a high profile kid's mother out on a date? Where would, if you guys were single, obviously, where would you guys go?
Man, dude, I'm starting off. I'm starting off high. I'm starting off at a 5-star restaurant. Get to know her a little bit, and then after that, let's see where we go. Maybe we'll go. Some spot that's popping. At night. Maybe get a couple drinks. Have a fun night, man. You got to treat her, man. Theo Vaughn. I mean, I'm sure he's the entertainer, so I think that
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
what, they're probably gonna have a good night. So yeah,
If I'm Theo, I'm sitting here in front of my couch and I'm probably doing a little 1 minute open mic sesh for her. And then having her cook for me, nah? Just kidding.
dude.
Have to.
Now, what a good time. Diego Pavia, though. What a win, man. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of critics saying that Seller get left in the second half with
Yeah.
the head-to-head shot where that gentleman was removed for targeting. That targeting rule, how do we feel about that targeting rule? We a fan of it?
I'm all about player safety. Whenever I was playing college football, this kind of CTE stuff was kind of just rearing its head and coming out. And I remember whenever I was 21 years old, kind of sitting there, and all this stuff was coming out. You kind of have that like warrior mentality, right? You kind of say, I know what I signed up for. I know this is a violent sport. When you're in the thick of it, it's not till years later and you kind of start seeing the effects of smacking your head every single day that you kind of sit back and think that player safety should be the first thing in mind. There are some calls sometimes that could be a little fishy, could go one way or the other, but I do like that we are keeping the player's safety in the forefront. It does change the game a lot. A lot of people like touchdowns. People don't like watching 10-7 victories, 7-0 victories. Um, but now the receivers are able to go across the middle and not really have gator arms too much. They can go up there for that ball, knowing that they're defenseless and that they won't be able to get hit. And if they do, that the other team could suffer greatly by the kid getting kicked out of the game and missing some of the next game as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Has anything came out about that kid? Because he's one of their studs, right? Their stud linebackers.
He is, yeah. So
Is
what
he going
what
to be
happens?
suspended?
So if you do get kicked out of the game, so for him it was kicked out in the first half, so he just had to miss that game. If he would have got kicked out in the second half, he would have had to miss the second half of the game and the first half of the next game. So luckily it did happen in the first half, so he will be able to be participating for the next game.
Yeah, that's college football right there. You miss a half. That's wild. That's kind of cool, I guess. You still get to suit up, but you only miss a half of football. That's kind of neat.
Yeah,
Not a bad exchange there. With Before we move on from Diego, they are playing Georgia State this coming up week. Diego Pavia went 18 for 25, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Doesn't Not crazy on the stat sheet, but they did pull off the 31-7 victory. With him not having such a crazy stat sheet, does that being a fan or following them now? Because we're gonna follow these guys to the national championship now. Here we go, baby. Let's jump on this train, Borba. We're on the Vandy train, baby. Positives is that how we should feel? Obviously, Georgia State. That's nothing crazy. So at least we're gonna get to 4-0 start.
yeah. So with Diego Pavia, even last year with his big name, he's not going to come out with a huge stat line every week. That's just not who he is. He's a game manager. He leads his teams and makes the right decisions and takes care of the football. He's not going to leave a game with 300 passing yards. You don't want that from Diego. They want to stick to that run game. They want to hand the ball off. Involve him in the run game as well too. He had 11 rushes for 24 yards this last week. He does run the football for them. It's good to have that +1 runner in there in the offensive scheme. He's not going to have Heisman level numbers. He wins football games. He's a gamer. Whenever he goes out on the field, the lights are on and the cameras are flashing, he's going to make those good decisions and lead his team to victory. And he's shown that over the last 2 seasons or season and a quarter so far. And So whenever we see that, that's pretty much what I'm expecting. They don't have that offense built around Diego Pavia to put up numbers. They have it built around him to make sound decisions and put the ball in their playmakers' hands.
Hell yeah. JB, let me ask him one more before you get to him. UNM got a crazy upset this weekend. One of my buddies texted me does UCLA stink or is UNM legit? And I was like, that's a good question. I'm gonna ask our boy Tim Foley. So is UNM legit or does UCLA stink? And when I say legit, I'm not talking about playoff contenders here. I'm just talking about higher. Have they elevated their standards opposed to in the past?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare it because UNM historically has not been a great football team. But I think in this instance, it is a little bit of both. Watching the game closely, I was up late Friday night watching the game, and a lot of people were sending me text messages throughout the game like, "Hey, man, is this score real?" And a lot of people weren't actually watching the game because there's a lot of other stuff to do on a Friday night at 10 o'clock, right? But whenever I'm sitting there, I watch the game from front to end. It could have been a lot worse. UCLA is a bad football team, as you can see why they fired their coach the very next day. They got pushed around the ball. Our offensive line was driving them 3 to 4 yards back every single play, and that's good in UNM's eyes. But for UCLA, they have a lot of big games coming up in this conference that I think that they did not see a light at the end of the tunnel and they had to make a change. UNM came and they had 3 different running backs score touchdowns. They have a very sound running game. And a big thing is their offense is keeping the defense on their toes. They're running these trick plays. They're going for it on fourth down. What a lot of people don't realize is this game could have been actually a lot worse. UNM went for it on fourth down in the red zone and didn't convert twice and still won 35-10. UCLA was just a bad football team. And I think that they are going to continue to be a bad football team. Whenever you fire a head coach midseason, it's never a good thing. They had big headlines coming in with Nico transferring in and being that guy, and he just does not have a supporting staff there for him. It's going to be very interesting to see what the rest of their season looks like because it is not looking up for UCLA, especially whenever they pay $1.2 million to the Lobos to come into the Rose Bowl and beat them like that.
Yeah, what a donation. What a donation. JB, you got a question?
No, not regarding the UNM game, anything like that. Obviously, a big thing on everybody's mind, I think, is the Texas and UTEP game. We can kind of get into that a little bit. But shout out to everybody in Albuquerque that support the Lobos. We're getting a lot of comments on the Lobos here, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to y'all. But yeah, I think the next thing that we should get into is a little bit of obviously Arch Manning. He's on the in the spotlight a little bit, not for the best
Getting
reason.
booed?
So after kind of watching that game, the things that we've already been previously talking about Arch Manning when it comes to mechanics, how comfortable he looks on the field, all that kind of showed up. Tim, what do you take away from that game and Texas going forward?
I think just kind of reiterate what we talked about last week. It's rearing its head. I think the big issue and the big sore spot that's happening is Arch injured or are his mechanics just faltering? Because whenever you kind of hide something like this, playing injured, that's what you do when you're in football. The big question that they always give us whenever you're kids: are you hurt or are you injured? If you're hurt, you can still play. If you're injured, you got to come out. And whenever you're a competitor like Arch Manning, that line gets blurred and you want to go support your team and be there for your team. But if you're not able to perform at the level that you can perform at to make your team successful, that's whenever you have to start kind of weighing your pros and cons there. We don't know. Nobody's coming out and saying Arch Manning is hurt. This is what's wrong. Understandably, you don't want people to know. You don't want people showing your hand before the river's done getting flopped over, as people in cards would say. But the problem that's coming here is if he's hurt, then that kind of gives an excuse as to why his mechanics are regressing, is what it looks like. He does not look like the same football player throwing the football from last season to this season. And there's either two reasons: he's either hurt or he's getting worse. And I think after this weekend, we really showed that I think we're going to be seeing Arch Manning in college football again this next season. There's no reason for him to go out unless he was going to be one of those top 5 draft picks. And he is not playing that way right now, whether it be for his own skill set or for the supporting staff for the plays being called. It's just not happening. I don't see people trading away their picks to go get Arch Manning. So because of that, I see him coming back into college, which I ultimately think is a better thing for him. Hopefully, he's able to rest up that arm or get with some specialized quarterback coaches to kind of see what's going on. But there are a lot of questions here. Anytime you're playing in Austin and you're getting booed playing UTEP, there is very big problems for your football team. UTEP is not a good football team. They historically haven't been, and they're not a good football team this year. And for you to come out and win 27-10 at home and get booed by your own fan base, it is not
Tough
looking good
look.
in Austin.
Yeah, that's a tough look. And to be fair, his granddaddy came out and said Arch will be back in college football next year. So at least we know he will be back in Texas. As a Texas fan, I don't know how excited you are given these past 2 weeks, the slow starts. But he is a Manning. And because his last name, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that they get that thing together, especially if it's just mechanical. Tim, before we let you go, we had a little bit of criticism on your top five, your college rankings from last week. I believe you may know who this gentleman is. Carl. I'm not gonna butcher it, but if we read it here, he said Penn State is trash. Only averaged 3.8 rushing yards per attempt against Nevada. They also struggled scoring against FIU. Penn State is a fugazi.
Ooh.
Is that a Penn State hater there, or is that an overreaction to last week?
That's so shout out to Carlo LaRossi. He's a legend out in Rio Rancho, and he's an Albuquerque High football coach. I played with him in high school. He's a great guy. I was actually at his wedding in Mexico a couple months ago. Very very good family friend. He I think that's an overreaction looking at it on a Monday. You can't fault a school for who they're playing. You know, they played this last week they played against a very weak um, Villanova football team, and they were covering the score up until the last play of the game. I don't know if you saw that. There was literally probably one of the best catches and best plays in college football so far this year, and it was a mundane last play of the game. It was 50-0, and Villanova just kind of threw it up, and it had this guy jump up, snag it one-handed, drag the foot for the last play of the game, which made Penn State not cover. So everyone all game was if you picked Penn State to cover, it was like a 48.5 point spread. And I guarantee you there's people walking up to the cashier to check their to get their winnings, and then that last play happened and everyone was kind of up in arms. At the end of the day, they still won a great football game, and you can't fault them for who they're playing. They will get into those games later on in the season, playing against those tough opponents. But so far, they have not played um, and any reputable opponent, but they have been doing their thing and getting a win. And that's another thing with Texas is it's looking sloppy, but they're winning these last 2 weeks in their football game. So as long as you're getting that W and you're getting your team prepared and to go play those big games later on in the season, getting your teams healthy to there, that's really all that matters. As long as you go through the season without a loss, you can't really fault them. But Penn State hasn't really been able to show what they can do as a football program because they haven't really had any good teams to play against yet.
Oh yeah. Well, Tim, I appreciate you joining the show. We will see you on Wednesday with the new power rankings. And has the Heisman top three changed? Maybe. Everybody, Tim Foley. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Show, bro. I feel a little bit smarter. I'm definitely a little more juiced about Diego. I need to relax about Texas. Just chill out just a little bit. They're still winning, JB.
They're still winning.
Still winning.
Yeah, and the thing is from the Manning history, um, from the Manning
Figure it
history.
out.
I mean, Peyton and Eli spent 4 years in college. I don't think it's going to be any surprise that Arch does the same thing, and it's only going to help. I mean, it helps, in history past when a quarterback has 4 years
JB,
of
wait.
experience.
Wait. I hate
Phone
to cut
call.
you off, but we have a phone call.
All right.
Here we go. Let's see what we got. Speaking out loud, what's your name and what you want to talk about?
Hey, this is Santiago, and I just want to let you know he's ready to go.
Raider. Raider.
We taking a spot in the AFC West today.
Let's go, Santi. I appreciate you calling, my brother. Let's see. Let me see what JB's reaction to this is. Thank you for calling, speaking out loud. JB, he said
Raiders.
Raiders. Yep, he said that today they're taking over the AFC.
Oh shoot.
Is it? How do we feel as a Raider? If you're a
Well,
Raiders fan, what do you think going into this game?
I mean, honestly, as a Raiders fan, like there's kind of a lot to look forward to. Obviously, you get Pete Carroll, changes cultures, Ashton Jeanty, Geno Smith. He's a respectable QB now at this part of his career. He's going to make plays. The only issue I have right now is Brock Bowers is out. He's got some leg issues. We got to wait for that return. So that's the only hit I see from this team, like being 2-0. But yeah, the hype is there, man. The hype is there, and as a Raider fan, I mean, you got football to look forward to, not only this year but in years to come with these young studs that Brock is playing. Okay, so he just had a strain. Everybody thought it might have been a sprained MCL or something where he might be out a couple weeks. So Brock is playing, bro. Start him. Start Brock. He's probably going to feel pretty good. I mean, you got a lot to look forward to, man. Brock might be the best tight end in football for the next 10 plus years. Ashton Jeanty, I mean, solid running back. We've seen it. He's just got to put it together on the field now at this point, but he's still only his second career start. Geno Smith, he's gonna get you. The offense flowing. I should say Geno Smith is gonna get the offense flowing. Jacoby Myers, he's no scrub. That brother can play too, as Stephen A. Smith says. But I think they come out. I think they come out looking good. And 2-0 is a real possibility tonight. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. 2-0 is right up there, leading the AFC West if they win. This is the battle for first place in the AFC West.
Yep.
The Chiefs start 0-2. This is a perfect time for either one of these teams to really grab that division by a chokehold. It's only week 2. I might be overreacting there, but I do love it, JB. They are -3. Excuse me. They are -3.5 underdogs heading into this Monday night game. Tough. It's gonna be a tough. This game's gonna be fun. I think if you're a Chargers fan, you are a little. I don't want to say you're nervous, but this is definitely a toss-up game coming off such a high, like we said earlier. It's week 1. It's such an emotional ride against the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs in a close one, and now, did that emotional dump? Is it going to affect the Chargers? Going into week 2, especially such a big game. As for the Raiders, kind of just beat down on the New England Patriots last week, and to me, it for them it allowed more of a momentum shift in their favor. So it's gonna be fun to see if that momentum carries into them tonight. But JB, I'm riding with the Raiders. We just got a Raider. We got our first call, and it was for the Raiders. So I'm taking the Raiders tonight. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah.
Definitely covering. But this is where I lose my money. This is always where I lose my money here. It always becomes emotional, and then I place a small wager and I typically lose it. But not today. Not today. Today I'm gonna wear that black and gold like a G, like a straight gangsta. Borba. Raiders. JB, but let's move on real quick. Let's run down the rest of these games. Patriots versus Dolphins. Drake May shines in 33-27 shootout win. What a game. What a game. What an emotional game. Tyreek Hill kind of loses himself there in a pass where Tua overthrows him. It seems like they're kind of just losing it all. This is kind of what we expected. I told you I was kind of hoping not hope. I don't want to see anybody do bad, but I was leaning towards the Dolphins losing. Just to kind of see the fallout of what comes next after a loss. This was a gutted loss. I think this is going to affect the locker room beyond just that little players meeting that they had last Tuesday. I mean, at this point, JB, if you're a Dolphins fan, you absolutely want to blow this up. Yeah, we got to where we can get Tyreek Hill and get some assets for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think now the button is pushed in Miami. They like Mike McDaniel still. There's a lot of issues, but he is on the hot seat now. He is officially on the hot seat now. The team still has Mike McDaniel's back, but I don't know about ownership. That's two different things. Tyreek Hill, man, I'm going to call it now. I don't think he's on this team past week 6, 7. 6, 7.
Maybe week
I
4.
don't know. I don't know if he's past. I don't know if he's on this team. I think the Chiefs have a real shot of trading for this guy and getting him back in Kansas City. And then, in Tua, he's not looking good. He's turning the ball over. You know, there's panic in Miami right now, and
Bro, you just
there
said the
might have to be
Chiefs.
some changes.
Did you just say that there's a chance that the Chiefs get him?
I think so. I think so.
Bro, you know what stinks is that actually makes sense, especially them starting 0-2. I mean,
They
they
need
got
wide receiver
suspensions
help.
left and right, players hurt left and right. JB, I don't like the way that sounds because it feels like when Chiefs get players, they seem to get them for like a fifth or a sixth or a seventh, and somehow they win the trade. I Please stop feeding the rich, please,
Yeah.
please, please. JB,
Yep.
Doomsday in Miami. We'll follow them as the news comes
Yep.
out today and tomorrow. So I'm sure we're going to have a little more of a reaction next week. The Cardinals squeak out of a close one. Wasn't close at the beginning, but slowly allowed
Yeah.
the Panthers to come back into the game. You know, as I'm watching this and the Panthers are just getting blown out, I'm like, I was thinking about you, about your expectations for them, thinking they turned the corner. I'm like, damn,
Yep.
JB swung and missed on this one.
No.
But
Yep.
the Cardinals do the Cardinal thing, and they allow teams to get back into the game. But they were able to pull that away with the defensive stop there on the final drive. JB, kind of don't this game kind of don't didn't really care because the expectation
You
was the
know.
Cardinals were going to get out of this. What
Yeah.
were your thoughts here?
My thoughts this entire game is like, man, are the Cardinals really trying to push Kyler Murray to be like just look great? Like, what are they doing? You can kind of finish the game off, kind of control the clock a little bit better, do this and that a little bit better. It's like they want Kyler Murray to have these crazy stat lines and all these numbers on the stat sheet to just win the game at that point. And you know, I don't know. Maybe there's some pressure on Kyler Murray to in that sense for that team to really say, okay, this is our guy. Like maybe they just want him to put up these crazy numbers or something like that. But like at this point, when you're up 27-9 or something, just finish up the
Yeah,
game.
27-9.
Because one thing that the Panthers can do good is they can they've turned into some garbage time merchants. So and then of course on the last drive when they get the onside kick, they're driving down the field. I mean, they're not even driving. They're getting bailed out by there's 6 flags in a row or something like that. It's like when the game matters, that offensive line just totally there's just crap stains all over the field because they're just crapping down their leg at that point. And Bryce Young, I just can't. I don't know, man. He just looks the way that offense was playing in that final. They could have won that game. I mean, they honestly could have
For
won
sure.
that game. I just
For
didn't
sure.
like some of the play calling. I didn't like what they were doing with Bryce, just keeping him in the pocket like that when it's just collapsing. Like roll him out, do something, have some design plays, have some better clock management. I don't know. It just did not work out. I was like, yeah, this is what this team does. Chuba Hubbard in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left always gets you a touchdown. Like he's getting 15, 20 fantasy points now. That's annoying. It's just they're garbage time merchants. I'm totally off the bandwagon with Panthers. I'm about lost it with Bryce Young. Like, I don't know, man. They just look like a dumpster fire, man. No joke. So
Nope. Another dumpster fire. The Ravens just completely put it on the Browns. And like
yeah,
we said last week, I don't think this is an overreaction. I
yeah,
think this is exactly what needs to happen. We said it last week. It's time for the Browns to move on past Joe Flacco. There's nothing more that man can give the Browns team that's going to make them better. And there's no way that those two guys sitting on the bench are worse than what we're being given right now. If I'm a Browns fan, I'm barking my ass all the way to Cleveland and telling them, come on, put in Dylan Gabriel, give me Shador Sanders. Let's just find out what's there. I mean, the offensive line isn't terrible. It's pretty decent. You could be in a worse situation like New York, right? Where our comments are telling us it's the O line. It's the O line. Why do you want to put Jackson Dart out there with a bad O line? That's not the same situation in Cleveland. But I have been seeing a couple workout videos from Deshaun Watson. Is it possible Deshaun comes back? I see a lot of there's a lot of tweets that go, "Hey, this man when he's healthy, this man when he's healthy." The only problem is we haven't seen him healthy in about 4 to 5 years. So is he still the same guy? I don't know. I would prefer you put in a rookie, put in Dylan Gabriel, and let's see what Buddy's got. It's got to be tough going into the week knowing don't really have a chance. Don't really have a chance.
Yeah.
Like how do you excite your fan base, especially such a dedicated and passionate fan base, and this organization just continues to throw the middle finger up to them. Yeah, at least that's what it feels like. I know they've made moves to make them better, but they've been dumb moves. JB, what's up? What are we doing? What are we doing?
I think you got to get off. I think you got to get off of the Joe Flacco ride, the Joe Flacco experiment, whatever you want to call it. But honestly, he doesn't have too much help. Your best receiver is Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
David Njoku, he's a formidable tight end, but other than Jeudy, you got some question marks at wide receiver. I mean, running game is supposed to be better. I mean, obviously you get Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, he's not bad. I just don't know. I think you got to get off it. I think you got to get Dylan Gabriel started, but I don't know now that we're kind of seeing. Obviously, Jackson Dart got thrown in there for a second. Didn't look good. JJ McCarthy has not looked good. Maybe we got to sit our quarterbacks out a little bit longer. Let's wait till midway till Thanksgiving. Maybe I don't know. But I think if you're 0-4, if you're Browns and you're 0-4, I think you make a QB change. You got to make a QB change within the next 3 weeks or so.
Tomorrow. You got to do it tomorrow. Like, come on. We got to quit doing
I
this.
think you just got to pull the
We
trigger.
have to quit doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Especially if you're the Browns. You've been looking for a quarterback for so long. Why stop now?
Yep.
Why stop now? Come on, Cleveland. Damn it. Bro, Seahawks, Steelers, unfortunately, we're about to send our beautiful people off to work. We got about 3 minutes. So let's just get past these next 3 games real quick. JB, we got Seahawks and Steelers in another barn burner. The defense giving up 31 points to the Seattle Seahawks, allowing them to win. Swinging Seahawks being down 10, coming back, and now they're sitting at a 1-1 record.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest story coming out of that game was that rookie touching that ball, allowing it to go into the end zone. Seattle taking a 10-point lead. What a dagger straight to the heart. And a lot of question marks in Pittsburgh from what I've seen on Twitter, questioning that team, who they are. Who are we out here in the Steel City? What was your reaction from there? JB, real quick, we have a caller. Let's go ahead and take this 1 second.
Okay.
Speaking out loud, what's your name? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, this is Bobby calling to give a shout out to Borba and Renee this morning. I wanted to know what you guys thought about the updated injury status of Joe Burrow, who's expected to miss up to 3 months now with this injury. So, good work, boys.
Hell yeah.
I'll look for your answer on the show.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for calling. JB, quick touch. Joe Burrow out 3 months.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on this earlier. What you got?
Touched on it, but I think to keep it short and sweet, it sucks. Is Joe Burrow now injury prone? Like we've been saying it the last couple seasons. I mean, it seems like he's always having an injury. But as far as missing 12 games roughly, as I said earlier, you got Minnesota coming up this week. That's a toss-up game. I mean, with how awful Minnesota looks. If the Bengals can go 3-0 and then 500 the rest of the way before Joe Burrow gets back, maybe for the last 3 or 4 games, I think this team still is in playoff contention. As long as you're about 8-6, going into the last month of the season, I think you got a chance. And Joe Burrow's going to come back, and he might be a little bit rusty, but as long as they're in there, if they can be about 500 these next 3 months, I think it's up in the air if they make the playoffs or not. I think so.
JB, I believe I'm rolling with you. I'm not going to overreact until this next weekend. Let's see how this next weekend goes. They're sitting at 2-0, one of their best starts, and quite a long time.
Finally get a good start.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt week 3, and then we'll chat on Monday. JV, let's just give our picks for Monday Night Football real quick. We got the Chargers and Raiders, who we talked about earlier. I'm
Yeah.
going to take the Raiders. We got the Raider caller.
Yeah.
Raiders. Who you got?
Yeah, man. I was gonna go Chargers, but I really like now that we got a Raider calling, like I'm just gonna go Raiders.
We're
But I
here.
think the Chargers are legit. I think the Chargers are a legit team, and they're coached well. And Justin Herbert, I think this is kind of his breakout season. So we'll see what the Raiders can do. If the Raiders can put up some offense and get the ball moving and keep Geno Smith upright in the pocket, I think this is a barn burner for sure.
Yep. And last one, JB, we got the Buccaneers heading over to the Texans. Texans being a -2.5 favorite with the over-under sitting at 42.5 points. Can that offensive line progress from last week and help save CJ Stroud's life? I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I like what Baker and what was your boy's name again from
Emeka,
Ohio State? That
Egbuka,
beautiful Mbuka, at baby. That's what I'm gonna say that they're gonna fly high and ride into a win this Monday night.
I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Bucks should pull this one out. I think they pull it out.
Should. Hell yeah, JB, that's the show. We
Yep.
will react to a couple more of the highlights or the storylines tomorrow. We will catch you guys. Don't forget 6:30 7:30 Monday through Thursday. Also, the line will be open 575-808-9307. I appreciate the people who called in, Rob and Santiago. Shout out to you guys. Also, thanks to Tim Foley for making us just a little bit smarter today in the college football world. And shout out to the NFL for putting on hella games yesterday. Unfortunately, I was on the winning side of it. My co-host was on the bad end of that one, but it's okay. We're going to touch on the Vikings tomorrow. We didn't quite get his reaction, but we're going to get it in the morning. I appreciate you guys joining the show. Don't forget, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.